Let's jump ahead and talk a little bit about the rollout, about the cellular piece of the five C's of 5G. How's the rollout going? I mean, I know we've seen some specialty market rollout. We've seen some things at Levi's Stadium, and we've seen some things in Vegas. Can you talk about some real world examples of where it's been rolled out and what's happened there?
I'll pick that up to start. Certainly, these guys publish and push it out. The major cities, major markets, I believe 30 is the target of this year, which is a lot of markets when you think about it. You've got Boston and New York and Washington, and you say Vegas and LA and San Francisco and Florida, places in Miami, et cetera. I think that part of this has to do with what we started the conversation about: infrastructures, venues, city. I think public areas are going to become very different. You're going to walk through Times Square with access to things that you just never had. So I think a lot of this has to do with introducing and allowing the realm of the possible to be experienced by the consumer, and for us in our side of the industry to start to utilize and leverage this infrastructure and how we're going to produce and deliver all that content. So I see that it's a lot faster to roll out radio than it is to roll a bunch of cables, whether it's glass or copper. And so ultimately, this is going to push fairly quickly. And we also touched on, the ATSC 3.0 stuff is going to just extend that reach even further and faster. So a lot of moving parts that are all coming together at the same time.
I'll be the naysayer. So not for a while. So the rollout is very limited right now, especially for millimeter wave technology. So that's what ultra wideband is, right? And that allows that big pipe. You go to fast.com and you're hitting like 700 megabits per second on your mobile phone. Like that's, whoa, that rollout is very limited right now. And the reason for that is because it takes the cells must be placed in a much more saturated environment, right? That the millimeter wave technology has a very short distance because of the frequency. And so you have to have a lot more cells placed around something. So you have to really like place pico cells, and they can be tiny little things, right? You have to have them everywhere. I mean, they're really talking about them sort of, line of sight on the pole. So that kind of saturation, I mean, it just takes a lot of time, and it takes a lot of buy-in from the cities, right? So you've got small townships or even big cities who say like, yeah, we don't really want to do that right now. Or, hey, we want to do that, but we want a cut of something because you're asking to put cells up everywhere. And we don't need that, right? People have cellular communications. We have towers. We're good to go. So I think that the rollout is happening in certain markets that it makes a lot of sense, like Vegas. Yes, betting. Let's put a lot of pico cells there. Or it's happening in arenas. Again, closed environment. You don't have to talk to anybody. You just be like, hey, arena, let's partner. We're Verizon. We want to do this. It's going to be awesome. And the arena says, thumbs up, we're in. So I think we're seeing that. And then to what Eric said is that consumers are going to go to these places and have this amazing content experience on their phone. Like, wow, why can't I get this at home? And mind you, I live, in an AT&T market. I live in Dallas, and I'm a Verizon. So obviously they're sharing, but I happen upon an ultra wideband area, like once in a blue moon. Like, it's just like, oh my gosh, it's ultra wideband. And then I start like doing as much as I possibly can while I'm there and watching every piece of content I can. But again, it's such a small, limited area. So it is happening. It's just not going to happen as fast as we want it to, which is why the B2B part of it is so important, right? All that infrastructure, that's what's really driving this. The sort of cellular, the bridge from B2B to the consumer is just going to happen a bit more slowly for that really wideband stuff.